Good morning, everyone. In the context of the today workshop on healthy diet for healthy life in the frame of the REPEAT project, I am glad to welcome to the University of Teramo Dr. Rafael De Cabo, Chief of the Translational Gerontology Branch at the National Institute on Aging, NIH, in Baltimore. Dr. De Cabo is one of the leaders and expert in the field of the study of caloric restriction and aging. Welcome to the University of Teramo, Dr.
Thank
De Cabo.
you.
Can you tell us something about the meaning of caloric restriction?
So meaning of caloric restriction is an intervention that started about 100 years ago and is an intervention that we do in model organisms, and it refers to cutting down the number of calories that you provide the animal over the lifespan. So what it does for organisms is to extend both the mean and maximum lifespan. That is accompanied as well with increases in health.
Can you tell us about studies of caloric restriction in humans?
Yeah, so there's two studies that were funded by the National Institute of Health in the US. It's called the Calorie study that was done in 3 different centers. And they studied the reduction of 25% of the calories in humans, either by total reduction of 25% of calories or by increasing 12.5% with exercise the amount of calories and 12.5% by decreasing the caloric intake. And the outcomes in terms of health parameters that measure health seem to overlap somewhat with what we've seen in model organisms.
Can you tell us about the feasibility of caloric restriction and other forms of these interventions, such as caloric restriction mimetics?
Right. So, I mean, we know that it's very hard to make people lose weight and to put people on diets for a long period of time. So we developed this term caloric restriction mimetics, that is drugs that target the specific pathways that are involved in caloric restriction to not have to reduce the caloric intake, but just take a pill and try to promote health and survival.
It is becoming more and more popular, the term time-restricted feeding or alternate fasting. What is it?
Well, I mean, I think that these are different forms of calorie restriction. So the time-restricted feeding is when you try to compact the whole full intake of one single day in just a few hours. So you will have one single peak of insulin, and you have food presence in the organism just for a short period of time. That enables to activate some of the same pathways that caloric restriction long-term does.
And the final question, are there differences between genders, males and females, and when people should start caloric restriction in their life?
So I think that, first, I don't know if people should start caloric restriction. I think that they need to consult with the doctor first to see if caloric restriction is applicable to them and if they can endure it. And then in terms of survival and responses between the two sexes, we know perfectly well that the response in terms of aging and survival is very different between males and females, men and women. So for example, if you look at people in the world right now that they are over the age of 110, 93% of them are women. It's only 7% men.
Thank you so much, Dr.
You're very
De Cabo.
welcome. Thank you.